Hello, knockouts. Tonya TKO here. And boy, oh boy, I'll tell you this much. Whenever I get angry, like really, really angry and fed up, something beautiful is born from that. You know, anger is a necessary emotion because anger inspires movement. Sadness is the emotion that comes right before anger. And then once you get to the angry stage, that is an indication that some of your boundaries have been crossed, that you don't like what's going on. And anger is an emotion with movement that helps you move into the next phase. And I'm telling you, whenever Tonya gets angry, something beautiful is born. And look at this. I think I'm on the verge of switching over to podcasting. I'm not sure, but I decided that I wasn't going to stay angry about what YouTube was doing for very long. And I have begun to shift my videos into something that will allow me to make more videos, to create more of the content that you all want to see and give more lessons out there. I just have to figure out how to get paid and be able to create a sustainable living by doing it. So let me work on that behind the scenes while we jump into this video. This is something that came down my pipelines by a person by the name of Chinks at Chinks underscore. And he says, "You can suck my dick and support my dreams all you want for centuries. If I meet the love of my life next week, I'm out." And that is that. How much more plain and simply can you have it put? But you know what? I'm going to create a series of videos to be able to help open up the eyes of you ladies. Because like I said, a man says it and you weigh it more. And ladies, we're going to have to be able to do better with that because we need to rise up our goddess essence from inside of us to be able to help heal this world. All right. So I'm not pulling any more punches or holding any more punches. I was on YouTube for 12 years without using any profanity, and YouTube was still doing me dirty. So F that. When I feel like cursing, I'm going to curse. When I feel like screaming, I'm going to scream. Because as they say, well-behaved women seldom make history. So let's make some history here today, boys and girls. Let's analyze this. You could suck my dick and support my dreams all you want for centuries. If I meet the love of my life next week, I'm out. Which means that he still has himself open and available for the type of woman that he wants, the type of woman that is the woman of his dreams. Please know and understand that men have these things, these very fragile egos, and they don't want a woman that they respect and adore, somebody that they want to think highly of them. They don't want that woman to see them down and out. They want the woman that he has to stretch and reach to attain. There's so many of us women that we go about this backwards. We hustle backwards. We hustling what is it, bass backwards, and we're expecting to be able to raise a man up like a piece of dough. We just mold that dough, or maybe like some snow where they put him all together. In the meadow I can build a good man, and then I can call him Mr. Brown. He'll say, "Are you married?" I'll say, "No, man." But you can, no. We think that we're going to go out into the meadow and we're going to build us a little snowman and we're going to put a scarf on him and 3 pieces of coal. And then, oh, when he comes to life, oh, when he gets on top, oh, we in. But if you really think about it, you know, men push this idea of loyalty onto women. Oh, be loyal, be loyal. Oh, you got to be loyal. You can't even date anybody else while we are just even getting to know one another. You got to commit to me when I want you, and then stay around when I don't want to commit to you, and be friends with benefit and open all up your gap and let me fall in all your gap and let me swim all around in there and deposit babies in there, and you raise my babies while I go out and find the woman that I really. This man is talking about keeping his options open while you're building his dream. Listen, for centuries, he doesn't give a damn how long you've been building his dreams. He doesn't care. Think about how many men are in happy marriages, or what you thought was a happy marriage, and the impulse, they can't even control themselves sometimes. Oh, their little testicles get defibrillating, oh, gyrating down there in their pants. And then when they see the type of woman that they really want, they go off to that woman. When they see a woman that they want to try out, a woman that's younger or plumper or thinner or taller or browner hair or smoother pubes or whatever the case may be, they find a woman that they want to try out and then they go and they try her out. Where is his loyalty? Listen, you know what? Even if you don't want to listen to what this man is saying, look at the patterns and the behaviors. I study evolutionary psychology, and unfortunately, according to evolutionary psychologists, they say a man is only as faithful as his options. It's like he has to invoke his the part of his human brain, the logic, reasoning, and decision making, to be able to stop him from going out there and making a choice that is going to destroy his family. Because if he could get away with it, if he could have you and all the booze on the side, he'll have them as long as you allow it. But as long as he feels enough pain from his choices, he'll know that there is a different choice to make. You know how they say familiarity is the what? The cousin of contempt, or familiarity breeds contempt? People start getting very relaxed and lackadaisical in their relationships. And even in good relationships, the man is going to be tempted to stray. And even if he's straying, he still wants to be able to maintain sole possession of you so that he has access to your womb, your uterus, your body, your helping hand, your nutrition, your nurturing, all of that. He still wants to be able to have access to that and still be able to run amok and do whatever the hell it is that he wants to do. If you really, really, really think about it, how many of you out there have forgiven an inch and then he went on to take a mile? This is why you got to make it hurt. When he messes up, you have to make it hurt so badly that he enacts his logic, decision making, and reasoning to make sure that he doesn't go down that route again. So let's jump into what this guy is saying and who is actually out there doing this. Basically, listen, I'm going to tell you something that you may not want to hear, right? And I want you to hear me and listen very good. Men have preferences for the type of woman that they want. Men want women that they consider to be beautiful. They want women that other men want. They want women that they themselves have to work hard and achieve to get. There's so much of what it is that you have that men want and need in order to be complete. Women, we are magical creatures. For those of you out there who have black female friends and you have non-black female friends, you understand what it is that I'm saying. There's an energy. There's a warmth, there's a depth that exists inside of women that are really truly grounded and rooted. When you know that woman got you, she got you, and you feel protected and covered in her gaze. Listen to what it is that I'm saying. Women, you know, because you're in relationships with women that are very deep and very, very intimate relationships with other women. And men, for the most part, they don't have areas inside of their lives where they have the ability to be able to get that type of, the only place that a man can get that type of healing is with a woman. The only place, because male on male relationships are not as intimate and as close as relationships where women exist in them. And if those man on man relationships are close and very intimate, it's because one or more of those men is in his feminine, and he's able to dip down into that feminine energy and that feminine essence, that nutritive part of being a being, to allow to create the space for a person to be vulnerable. Other than that, they just punching each other on the shoulder, talking about man up, nigga, man up. That bitch left you, man up, nigga. You could do better. Let's go to the script club. Right? And that's how they do it. That's how they do it. But you, woman, you've been fooled, you've been bamboozled by many different entities that are in play to keep you stuck and keep you serving men. And I want you to open your eyes and just pay attention to what it is that I'm saying. Listen, if you look around, a lot of the indoctrination that you've been taught has been handed down to you from religion. Religions that are created by men who got you all twisted up inside your cabeza. We got men who have convinced you that woman came from man. That man created woman from his rib, and that woman is the helpmate. Let me ask you this question. Have you ever tried to help a man who didn't need your help, right? Have you ever tried to help? He doesn't want your help. Men revolt against help from women unless they're in this category where they're using you as the come up woman. So he's using you to be able to come up, to be able to get to the type of woman that he really wants. Men have their preferences. There's a type of woman that each man has inside of his mind and inside of his spirit that he really truly wants. That woman that's shaped like an hourglass or a Coca-Cola bottle, or a woman that has a certain look and a certain feel, a certain vibration. But men who are lost and are just out there like a barnacle in space, just bouncing here and there, he will, yes, settle with you as the come up woman, and he will use you and siphon from you because you're not the type of woman that he really truly wants. A lot of us women don't know and understand that men have wants and preferences, and a lot of men lead us to understand that they don't. They're like, oh, look, I could get it up for anybody. I'll get it up. Yeah, he'll get his penis up. But will he open that heart for just anybody? Will he stay faithful for just anybody? Will he give up his life for just anybody? Because I told you, in the right relationship with the right man, he will give up his life trying to protect you. And some of us are over there lending men our cars while we're at work, and we can't even get him to pick us up on time, goddamn. We can't even get him to pick us up on time. So it's like he has the idea of the type of woman that he wants. And believe me, honey, it is not you. You want to know how I know that it's not you? It's not you because you have no requirements for him being a good man. There's no barrier to entry. There's no barrier to entry. You know how when you want to get the job that you really dream of, there's the gatekeepers, and you got to think of how to get past the gatekeepers, and you got to tweak your resume, and you got to be nice on the phone, and you got to code switch and put on your corporate America voice, and you have to be like, hi, can I speak with someone in HR, please? Hi, Sally, is that you? And you got to send them the little thank you cards and all that other stuff, and you got to be on your best behavior to get what it is that you truly want. What type of woman has no requirements? Listen, it's not about the way that you look, baby. Because you could be the most beautiful, the most shapely, the shiniest, or the coiliest hair, or however it is, the plumpest lips and the smoothest skin, honey. But if you don't have any requirements, you've gone down on his rung. What he wants is he wants a woman that he has to stretch out his hand to be able to reach up to get. I made a course and it's on sale right now. It's only $29.99 on my website. Will My Man Be Wealthy? And inside of that course, I tell you the key characteristics that you need to look for inside of a man to know whether or not that man has what it takes to be wealthy. Because what he will do is he will bide and idle his time with you because you're not his dream girl. And then when that Hawaiian silky comes down the pipeline, or that African bambuta, or whoever it is that he really has in his heart and mind that he wants, the type of person that he's like, you know what? I want to be the type of man that this woman wants me to be. We do men no favors by coddling them. We do no favors by being the come up woman. What he needs to do is he needs to come up to his boys. He needs to come up to his boys or find some mentors or a life freaking coach, a life coach, and have somebody who's going to be there to guide his hand. And he needs to invest in himself. How many of you out there have filled out the job applications, drove him to the job, called up and got him the recommendation, talked to your daddy, your pappy, and your lappy in order to get him the job? And what did he do once he got in there? He didn't really had it. He didn't have it fibrillating inside of him that he really wanted you or what it was that you were bringing or giving. And he didn't stay true to it. And you know what? It's unfortunate because so many of us didn't grow up in the household with men who grew up to be shit or who were shit in the household. Big shit. And we don't really know how a man behaves around a woman that he's lukewarm on. I grew up with brothers and his friends and stuff around me. And I had the opportunity to see behind the scenes, to sit there as the young bystander who people thought didn't know what was going on. And I had the ability to look and see how my brothers and their friends operated and how they treated certain women one way. But oh, they got on the pristine shoes and spats and the bow tie and the coordination for the right woman. The woman who looked the way he wanted her to look, who moved the way he wanted her to move, who inspired him in a way that he felt that he needed to be inspired. And they rose to the mantle of manhood to reach up to the rung to grab for that woman and put it all out there on the line. Be the type of man that she needs him to be. But it all starts from within that man. And then the trick on that is, let me tell you the trick on that, because it starts from within him. He has to want to be those things for himself. Otherwise, he'll destroy anything that comes in his path. And it's like they go from place to place to place thinking that the grass is greener here. Oh, if only I got into this yard, I would trim the grass and I would water the grass and I would fertilize the grass and I would treat the grass so well. But if you don't have the habits and patterns developed inside of you to appreciate grass, if you don't have the habits and patterns inside of you to appreciate the grass before you, to create the grass that you want, or to stay away from grass until you are in the presence of the type of grass that you're going to treat well. This man inside this thing doesn't have integrity. You can suck my dick and support my dreams all you want for centuries, which means that this N word is willing to wallow around with a woman that he really doesn't truly want to be with for quote unquote centuries. Time is the most precious commodity that we have because we cannot get time back. We cannot. It's the only commodity that we have, and we don't know how much of it we have. But when it's gone, it's gone. While he's wasting your time, he's wasting his time too. Not only that, he's rolling around with you with a loaded penis that creates children. And so he's creating new lives into the world with a woman that he really doesn't truly even want to be with. And he doesn't have the integrity and the discipline and enough inside of himself and the self-love enough inside of himself to be able to say, you know what? I'm going to hold out until I get the type of woman that I want. I'm going to create myself in the image of who it is that I see myself to be until I find the type of woman that I want. There's no half stepping. There's no half stepping. And there's far too many men out there who are half stepping, and we're allowing them to half step because we feel as women in our hearts, the intuition center of our brain is exponentially larger than the intuition center in men's brains. And we know. We know when he's not really there for the long haul. And so many of you write to me, so many of you goddesses and queens write to me. Oh, I didn't know. Oh, he was going to, oh, I did. Yes, you knew. You knew, baby. Don't try to take away your power as one man. You knew. You knew. And you know what? Listen, it's not your fault. The indoctrination started long before you came into this earth. And then once you got onto this earth, you were hypnotized by religious doctrine that got you all messed up in the brain, thinking that God is a man, thinking that all of the beautiful flowers and the intricacies and all of the nurturing that exists inside of God, that they attribute penile characteristics, a beard, and then also Caucasian skin, and then the oldness on it. And they got you mixed up and twisted in the brain, got you thinking that God is a man, that God created all the flowers and all this other stuff, and took all of the intricate little time with all of the details. If you think about it from what it is that you know, who is it that creates all the intricate little details of beauty and wonder and splendor? Either a woman or somebody deeply in their feminine. But they got you thinking that God is this macho man and that woman came from man rib and that you are the helpmate. Like I asked you earlier, how many of you ever tried to help a man who didn't want help? Women, we are the ones who rest in our feminine, who sit back and allow help to come our way. Who are the ones that are natural? Look, if you go to a male person and you start telling him your problem, what is the first thing that he starts doing? He puts on his Mr. Fix-It hat and he tries to help. But they got you twisted thinking that you came from man's body instead of the other way around. It's like we need the rise of the feminine to come upon us so that we can rise and fix and heal this earth. We can't heal the earth while we're broken and befracted from who it is that we are. But you know what? Like I said, it's not your fault. The indoctrination started very early in your life. I saw this program on YouTube once, and it was a program that did an experiment with babies where they took little boy babies and they dressed them up in girl clothing, and they took little girl babies and they dressed them up in boy clothing, and they put on a camera and they allowed people to come in there and play with the babies. And guess what? When it came to the boy babies, they used tactile things and tools and let the little what they thought were boys have autonomy and go out there and do this and fix this and do that. And they pushed the boys to go forward and develop himself. When it came to the little girl babies, they cuddled them and they spoke baby talk to them, and they got them little cuddly dolls and played with the dolls inside their face and never told them go forth and live your life for you. And so what ends up happening is that far too many of us women and girls, most of us who are raised in these patriarchal societies, we are never taught to live for ourselves, to to find our dreams. And you know what? I'm happy that I was raised in a house with men because I was able to see the telling of the go forth. And I said, well, Mother Effa, I'm going to go forth too. I became an entrepreneur at the age of 13. I decided that is what I was going to do for me. Because it's like you see the difference in the ways that men are socialized and the ways that women are socialized. We are socialized from very early on. Oh, girl, you're going to have to learn how to keep a man. Ain't no man going to want you if you can't do this and that. Girl, you're going to have to learn how to cook. Girl, come inside this kitchen with Granny. Oh, little Tyrone, you going out there and you play. Boys will be boys, you know. Meanwhile, you up inside the kitchen learn when listen, cooking is important to learn how to cook. I learned how to cook. But there was a time in my rearing where I had to put my foot down and say no. Oh no. Oh no. At this point, I am going to go off and do what it is that I want and need to do for me. And it takes a lot of courage because you have to buck against the grain of society, which is teaching you from very early on that your life does not matter, that you being the rib and the helpmate of a person with a penis is what matters. So that you go and you dedicate your life into creating his life how he wants it to be. And then what happens? You the come up woman, the woman who take all the men good women leave behind. Yes. So you the come up woman, the woman that the good women don't want, the women who know her worth don't want, and she leaves him behind. And you as a come up woman, he come up to you and he lets you help him get to where it is that he wants to be so that he could be a viable mate and option for the type of woman that he truly wants. And you know what? You know how I know that he does not really truly want you? Because you have no requirements. You have no requirements of him. You got no barriers to entry. You let him in and you let him have it all with no requirements of him ever having to be a man. But when he wants to level up, he knows that he has to be the type of man that the type of woman that he wants to get needs to be. And he's going to take you in all your rearing where you was the come up woman. He's going to take all those lessons from you. And he's going to go and he's going to try to invoke those into the relationship with the woman who he really wants to be with. And he's going to try as much as he can. But if he doesn't have that foundation inside of him from the very beginning, guess what? It ain't going to work. He's going to come tumbling back down the pipelines talking about how she cheated on him or left him or didn't really want to be with him or divorced him or whatever. But he's going to come rolling back to you now that she done dumped him. And hopefully you've leveled yourself up. Hopefully you've realized that your life is worth investing into for you. With the amount of time that we spend building men, we could be in amazing positions ourselves, but we are taught to humble and bow our heads down before men and lift them up, help them get the careers that they wanted to be. They created barriers of entry for women not to be able to have access to the prizes or the money or the land. In the 1920s, we couldn't even get custody of our children. The men got the custody. And it's like, if we wanted money, if we wanted land, if we wanted resources, we had to go through men. So there's so many of us who learn to put our wants and our needs and our desires aside so that we can assist a man in getting those things, because we hope that by proximity that we'll be able to have those things showered down on us. But sis, listen, they are not loyal. They are not loyal. As a matter of fact, you seeing them in their down and out stage is what is actually going to make them turn away so that they could find a woman who can really look up to him. Every man wants to be that knight in shining armor. You know what? Try it. Try it. Exclaim and clap and tell a man how he saved you. And watch his chest puff out and those biceps start flexing. And he'll be like, yeah, baby, I did. And then he starts jumping through more and more hoops to help you more and more. But that woman who saw him when his drawers was holy, when his shoes was talking on the side, and when he couldn't do for himself, he's embarrassed. His male ego won't let him, and he's going to think that something is wrong with you. Because if you really think about it, ladies, you already know this. You have sex too soon in a relationship. Does he even really respect you? Unless you guys just have a bomb connection where he is the type of man who is in a space in his life where he realizes, listen, if she's rolling around, I'm rolling around too. But so many of these low esteem men, you give up the pussy on the first night and they're like, this bitch gave up the pussy on the first night. She must not be shit. You know why? Because he don't think that he's shit. And a bitch who will open up her gap to a man who ain't shit, how can he respect her? But the woman who makes him earn it, who makes him learn it, who makes him yearn for it, that's the woman that he's like, wow, she must be a prize. And I'm telling you, black women, as long as we keep jumping around and accepting the bare minimum, we will never be the prize in society. We won't. Listen, I think I've said all that I needed to say because there are other videos that I want to make on this topic. So I thank goodness for this new podcasting style where I could crank out more and more videos than I ever thought possible. And now I'm just looking for a platform where I can upload my podcasts. So listen, on that note, go out there and love one another, but most importantly, love yourself. Love yourself. Get my book, The Book of Affirmations, Self-Love. It's a book that helps rewire your subconscious programming for self-love. Your life matters. Your presence on earth matters. That's one of the affirmations from the book. All you have to do is write in the book right before you go to sleep or right after you wake up and rewrite your subconscious programming. Level up. Rewrite your programming for love. Attract high vibrational situations into your life. Listen, on that note, I'm going to jump out of here. I want to hear your thoughts below. Thank you for supporting my videos. Thank you for sharing. Thanks for subscribing to me here on YouTube and here on Facebook and watching me on Instagram and Twitter as well. All right? Loving yourself is knowing that your life matters. Tonya TKO, and I'm out. Peace.